Yeah, welcome back to DXB today. Great to have your company this evening. Hope you're enjoying the show thus far as we delve into the world of entrepreneurship. We know there's something in the water here when it comes to entrepreneurial spirit, but real focus on women in entrepreneurship this evening. Our next guest is one of the region's most successful female angel investors and venture capitalists. She is the founder and the managing partner of Global Ventures, and of course, a judge on Shark Tank Dubai. Without a doubt, she has proved that it is possible to thrive as a woman in the male-dominated space. Welcome to Noor Sweid. Noor, it's great to have you with us. Thanks so much indeed for joining us.
Great to be here. Thank you for having me.
How often do you get asked this question about that sort of entrepreneurial spirit here? Is there something in the water? Is there something unique here when it comes to entrepreneurial spirit?
In Dubai?
Yeah.
Well, Dubai is an entrepreneurial city.
Yeah.
So it's a startup city. There's a lot of energy in the atmosphere. People want to start companies. They want to build companies. And the city itself, if you think about it, just 30 years ago when I moved here, was an idea. Or just a little bit more than an idea. And now it's one of the world's top cities.
When you reflect on the successes you've had in business to date with the businesses that you helped to fund as well, and those dreams that you helped to make come true as well, could you have done that in another part of the world, or is Dubai unique in that sense?
There are many entrepreneurial systems around the world,
yeah,
and venture ecosystems. You have Silicon Valley, you have New York, you have London, you have so many. You can go east towards Singapore, right? I think that Dubai is one of many. Here it's different for me. Here you have entrepreneurs and founders that are working using the world's best technology to solve problems that affect hundreds of millions of people. So it's not just, oh, let me make your deliveries 20 minutes instead of 30, right? Let me actually think, how do I solve for financial inclusion using fintech? How do I solve for healthcare access when we have so many fewer doctors per 1,000 people in this part of the world? So you're actually solving problems that matter using the world's best tech in a part of the world that enables you to do that.
Noor, I'm not going to beat around the bush, okay? Shark Tank, okay? Transitioning from venture capital to becoming an investor on such a popular franchise like Shark Tank. I'm a huge fan of the show. We had Tej Lalwani from the UK version of Shark Tank come on the show, and this is a question I asked him, which I'm very excited to ask you as well. What would you say are some of the most bizarre ideas that were pitched on the show?
Oh, wow. I wouldn't say they're bizarre. I would just say they're really innovative. So you have people that are solving for construction materials that are recycled, right? You have people that are solving for how do you build sculptures underwater, right? Which sound bizarre, but then you're like, wait, actually that could make sense because you could recycle some materials, put them underwater, make a beautiful ocean that you could then build corals on. So anything that sounds so out there, for me, just triggers my curiosity. And it becomes great. Why would you do that? And why is that important? And you start to learn a lot and take that onion apart and realize, wait, it's actually really interesting inside. So things that are the most bizarre are often the ones that get my curiosity going. They're just not necessarily the ones I would invest in.
People often start businesses to scratch their own itch, right? And you were an entrepreneur before you were an investor. So I'm curious to see what problem you were trying to solve for people like you as an entrepreneur. What did you need that wasn't there until you set up Global Ventures?
Capital. So for me, even today, I'm an entrepreneur. So I run the firm, Global Ventures. We manage almost $400 million. We've invested in 61 companies. We've had 6 exits. We've returned capital to our investors that puts us in the top decile performers in the world. So we're in the top 10% globally in terms of financial returns, investing in this part of the world. But 80% of my time, I'm a founder. So I'm founding the firm, we're raising capital, we're structuring the best governance we can, we're supporting our founders, we have a 7-layer framework. So the question of how do I access capital as a founder in this part of the world to build my business was what got me going. And I think we're so undercapitalized as a region that there's still so much space to do that, and that drives me as an entrepreneur.
Now I want to ask, as one of the few female sharks, what message are you hoping to send to young female entrepreneurs that maybe are tuning into the show?
That they can do it, that there's just as much opportunity for them as anybody else, and also to think about problems that matter generally. Not just problems they identify with as females, but I think females can build engineering companies and software companies and We've seen so many females build AI companies in the last few months that are just amazing and not just targeted towards gender problems. Okay.
When it comes to, what are the big misconceptions at the moment for entrepreneurs? I mean, because there's a lot made, isn't there, about the success stories here, and we hear a lot of people, obviously we've seen the population growth go through the roof, etc. A lot of people coming to Dubai, coming to the region with big ideas. What's the biggest misconception though when it comes to setting up your own business?
I think that people, whether the entrepreneurs or the investors, believe that if you're building a business here, you're catering to the region. And the reality is there are so many businesses in Dubai and the UAE that cater to the world. So in our portfolio alone, and when we're one small segment of this ecosystem, we have about a dozen companies that have more revenues outside the region in the US or Europe than they do in the region. And when we invested, they were only here. So when you think about, can we build the world's best tech companies? Yes, we can. And so when the misconception comes in is, oh, but you're in Dubai, therefore you must be serving the UAE or the Saudi market. And say, no, we're sitting in Dubai, and our biggest client as a cybersecurity company is actually sitting in the US. And so the fact that you can get that level of tech and that level of founder and that market access sitting here is something that is often missed amongst people.
Noor, I understand that you wear several hats. You're not just a venture capitalist, entrepreneur, a Shark Tank judge, but you're also a mum. You've got a lot going on, and I think part of the reason you didn't continue on the show is because you have all these other amazing projects, a full-time job, a family to take care of. How do you manage to find your peace within all this chaos?
With deep breathing. So, I have 3 boys.
Oh.
They're wonderful. They're a lot of energy. They're teenagers. They keep me young and spirited. And for me, it really is about spending some time in the morning with breath work and meditation and centering and grounding so that the rest of the day, whenever I feel like there's a lot going on, I can just go back to that core.
I'm curious, what is your favorite part of the week?
Friday morning. So it's always the beginning of the end of the week. And I think for me, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are all amazing, and I love the mornings. But on Friday morning, I wake up and it's very much, this is the day that brings everything together. It's the conclusion of the week, it's tying up loose ends, and it's the beginning of the weekend and taking some time out with my family, relaxing and just enjoying life.
So now, very quickly before we wrap up, I want to ask, I'm coming on Shark Tank. I want my pitch to stand out. Top 3 things that you would advise me to focus on.
Be incredibly passionate about what you're building. There is nothing more dull than a founder pitching a company that you feel they don't really care to solve for. Quantify the size of the market to get the sharks excited, because then it's a huge opportunity. And you have to say why you're the best person to build this.
Fantastic.
That is some great advice indeed. Noor, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for coming on the show. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on, and I love your dress. I have to tell you that.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.